Why not? I mean, it's in the news and people wonder about this. And if it ain't in the news right now when you're listening to this, chances are sometime or another when you're searching this video up, it'll be in the news. So, what we're going to go over today is actually going to be practical no matter when you hear about this. We're going to talk about 20 ways that we could actually prepare for a recession or a depression. And guys, these are proven strategies. So, welcome back to Brighten Up Sunshine, where every day is a new beginning. And let me ask you guys, are you ready for a recession or a depression if it actually came? See, the economy goes through cycles. It goes up and it goes down. But most people are not prepared when tough times hit. When jobs disappear, prices could skyrocket. And believe it or not, I have also seen where prices come down during these times. So if you have some extra money, it's a great time to like buy real estate, to buy actual real assets. So some prices could skyrocket, some could go down. It just depends on how it hits. And those who are not prepared, though, they are the ones who struggle the absolute most. But not you guys, because today I'm going to give you 20 practical ways that you're not only going to survive a recession or a depression, but you can actually thrive right through it. Now, these are not just nice to know tips, they're actually going to be life changing financial survival skills. So stay with me until the very end because I'm going to share how you can protect your money, secure your future, and keep your faith strong, even when the world feels uncertain. And if you're ready, let's go ahead and dive right into it, guys. Okay, strengthen your emergency fund. Why don't you get a pen and paper and write it down because you might want to look at it again. Strengthen your emergency fund. This one is very interesting, and I have a fact with this. And the fact is 61% of Americans, actually it's a little higher than that probably now, do not have enough savings to cover $1,000 worth of an emergency. And if that's you, then you need to actually start today because I'm telling you, if you don't have $1,000 saved up and something were to be like maybe you need a car part or a fridge part or appliance part of some sort, not having $1,000 saved up can just send your whole world for a crash. But having that little bit of emergency fund, and $1,000 is really not that much. It would take you, I don't know how many weeks we have. Some people say we're right in the middle of a recession. But I would just say save up what you can, whether it's 50 bucks, 100 bucks, maybe you can do the 1,000 right away. But the goal is to have an envelope and put that $1,000 in it and only touch it if it's an emergency. And it's not an emergency to go out to eat. So that's an action step that you can take, and that's number one. We have 19 more tips to get into. And I have lived through a few recessions. I know people who've lived through the Great Depression. So hopefully these tips are very actionable and practical for you to take away today. And like I said, get a pen, get a paper, write them down. But tip number one is strengthen that emergency fund. And the goal is $1,000. Okay, put it away, at least that $1,000 as fast as you can. Because after that, a little extra side bonus here is you want to build up to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses because you don't know. But if you just start with that $1,000, it's going to save you so many headaches. So many headaches. And if you take from it, side note again, if you take from it, make sure to put back in it because I'm telling you, that is really going to be your lifeline support. And we're moving on to tip number 2, which is, guys, if you have any credit with high interest debt, please take the time to pay that off now. Like, let me back here. If it's unsecured, then that's one thing. But for this practical matter, when I say unsecured, meaning like not a car loan, nothing that they could come and take, because you want to make sure you always have the necessities, which is food, water, shelter, and electricity. But number 2 is pay off your high interest debt. Debt is the number one thing that makes recessions harder. If a financial crisis hits and you're still making massive credit card payments, that's a disaster waiting to happen. But guys, if you don't have the $1,000 saved up, put that first. And that's why it was first. Save the $1,000 first. And then you want to start building up to the 3 to 6 months. And then, and only then, if you have that extra, you go ahead and pay the high interest off first. So in Romans 13:8, it says, owe no man anything but to love one another. And the good book called the Bible says that to actually owe people money, you actually become their slave. So you want to try to learn to live without debt. And I know that's a shocker in today's world. I mean, if you don't even have a credit score, people freak out. But let me tell you some things you need to go study. It's called the debt snowball method, which is paying off the smallest debt first and then roll that payment into the next one. That's a way to start paying off your credit cards. But as you're heading into a recession, you want to have as much money as you possibly can to save up for all of those pitfalls that could happen. That's why you want that emergency fund. So go study that. Go study the debt snowball method, because hopefully it will help you to just build momentum to start paying off your debt. And then go listen to people who don't believe in debt, like Dave Ramsey. And I know some of you are like, oh, what? But we're moving on to practical tip number 3 on how to survive a recession or a depression. Number 3 is live below your means. Live below your means. Okay, cut unnecessary expenses before you're forced to. That means the $5 coffee that you buy every morning, cut it. The $15 streaming service that you don't use, cut it. These things add up fast. The hair coloring that you get every month, cut it. Do it yourself if you're going to keep doing that. Try a no-spend week. You'll be shocked at how much money you actually save. And number 4 is stock up on essentials. Imagine this. If a financial crisis hits and you have no food, no supplies, and no plan, that would be terrifying, right? Genesis 41:36 says, food should be held in reserve for the country to be used during the 7 years of famine. So as you see, it's pretty practical. It's really practical to have a little extra. I'm not telling you to be a hoarder, but have a little extra. Start a deep pantry. Buy one extra staple item every single week, whether it's rice, beans, or canned goods. Every time you shop, buy at least one extra thing. And another practical thing that you could do so that you're not freaking out is learn to cook and meal prep. Fast food will drain your wallet. So learn how to cook cheap, nutritious meals, and this can save you thousands of dollars every single year. Try the $5 meal challenge. Now, we have so many different things online to use now. And so you can actually just Google $5 meals and you will get overloaded by your options. But start practically preparing your meals at home. And for $5, there's amazing meals you can feed your family. So see how many healthy meals that you can make for under $5, which leads me to tip number 6, which is diversify your income streams. This one's huge because we are now dealing with like AI and it's going to massively take off. And so chances are it's going to replace some jobs. Relying on one job is simply risky, but during a recession and depression, a lot of times, I mean, we could reach 20, 25% unemployment. We don't know. But if you start a side hustle, then you could at least build some passive income to go back to tip number one, which is save that $1,000 emergency fund. Start today before you're forced to have to. So take your existing skills and figure out how you can make money on them. Maybe you could just build something and sell it on your Facebook marketplace. Maybe you have extra things you could sell on eBay online. Just take some skill, because I know we all have skills that we are so underusing, and figure out how you can take your skill and make some money, because if you're just relying on one job, it's only one income stream. So number 7 is going to be keep some cash on hand. This one's huge because banks could actually limit withdrawals in a crisis. So have some cash at hand. And then if you have that, now I'm not saying hoard, but have some so you don't have it all in the bank is what I'm saying. Because I have lived through and seen where banks have froze accounts and people couldn't get any out for the day. So keep at least 500 in small bills if you can in a secure hidden location. Now, again, that could be, I don't know, that could even be to start out in that $1,000 envelope that you have for emergency funds. Number 8, practical tip, build a strong community. Because in hard times, our connections actually matter the most. So bartering, skill sharing, and mutual aid can keep us afloat. Have a community that you trust that has your back. Join a local group, a church, a network, just something where you can build a community. Number 9, grow your own food, especially as a lot of us are coming into spring and summer. This is the time where you can grow your own food. Even small space gardening can save money. Go ahead and grow your lettuce, your herbs, your tomatoes. You don't need acres to grow this, by the way. You could even try to look at vertical growing. And even if you have a balcony, you could grow some stuff on your balcony. So start with one plant, whether it's a pot of basil in the windowsill or whatever you've got. You have to start learning how to grow your own food. And we're on to tip number 10. Learn to barter and trade, because cash is not always king here, guys. It really is not. Make a list of skills or items that you could trade if money gets tight, because that's going to be important. And then that leads me to tip number 11, invest wisely. See, the stock market will dip. That's without a doubt. That happens in a recession and definitely during a depression. But wealth is built by those who stay in the game. So if you have a 401k or an IRA, if you have that extra $1,000 emergency fund, you won't be having to cash that out like a lot of people had to during the 2008 crash. So invest what you can afford to leave untouched for at least 5 years. And most recessions are over before 5 years. So prioritize your health as number 12. Now, medical bills can sink finances. Prevention is going to be the key. So learn to eat well. Learn to eat clean. Learn to eat as close to the natural source as you possibly can. Not a lot of additives. Exercise and manage your stress. Because, guys, none of this stuff do we get to take with us anyway. So if it all fell down tomorrow, we're still here. We have to take care of ourselves, because you are the most important thing, way more than any of the stuff that you have, including the money. Drink more water, walk daily, and get enough sleep, for goodness sakes. Small changes actually add up. Keep a journal about the small changes, and then you'll see from how far you've come, which will just keep the motivation up. Number 13, downsize and declutter. Less stuff will equal lower cost. So you could sell your unused items. You can then reduce your bills. Have a yard sale. Consider downsizing your home or your car. That would be good, especially why prices are still up right now. If you could downsize, especially if you could, like if you have 2 homes right now, that would be good. And number 14, keep learning and upskilling. See, adaptability is going to be your number one little secret to getting through, especially with job security, or should I say job insecurity. But if you build your skills before layoffs start happening, that will help you. And there's so many free online courses right now in high demand skills. So check out what kind of skills pay the best during recessions or depressions. And strengthen your spiritual foundation. That's going to be huge to do that. Okay, another one, 16. Negotiate your bills. Call your providers, that's your internet provider, your cell phone service, your car insurance, and ask if there's a lower rate that you could switch to. If there's some type of promotion they could put you on, something. Because this will help to tighten up your budget so you can save that $1,000 emergency fund. And maintain your car. Fix your brakes, your tires, etc. to avoid costly repairs later when mechanics might charge more or parts could be harder to get. And let's see, delay big purchases. Hold off on your cars, appliances, renovations as long as you possibly can. What can you do to make it livable and practical and get by? Unless it's critical, just do not do it right now. Don't do it. Prices could drop as demand falls. And then if you have the extra, but right now I would say hold off and delay big purchases. Okay, another one, review your investments. Shift some assets to safer options. If you're investing, consult a financial advisor, but don't panic sell, whatever you do. Another thing you could do is just practically learn how to save on your electricity. What could you do to insulate your home better, seal your windows, add rugs, get a programmable thermostat? If you could spend 20 bucks here to save 50 bucks there, look for things like that you can do around your home. And the last one is going to be plan for the worst case income loss. Map a bare bones budget where you make your food at home. Identify all the ways that you could actually save money and make it where you don't have that income coming in from your job that you've relied on, and think, could I make it? And then go from there. Rehearse survival mode before you're forced to rehearse survival mode. I hope that this actually helped in some way, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.